What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to talk about Yellow Freight, what exactly happened with their pension, and if it can happen to you. All right, so let's get straight into it. We all know what's going on with Yellow Freight. It is going under. It's been all over the news, and the most viral video has been this guy going off on the CEO that let him know that they could possibly lose their pension. And a lot of people want to know what a pension is. How could you possibly lose something like that if an employer has promised that to you? We're going to go over that today in this video. All right, so if you haven't seen the video that went viral, here you go.
I want my ass off of this motherfucker. Exactly. I've been here 30-something motherfucking years. Yeah, I agree you. 30-something fucking years. You tell me I ain't got no motherfucking pension.
Monday, all those truck drivers that put 30, 40 years in with Yellow Freight will no longer have a job. That means they don't have a pension because Yellow Freight hadn't been sending the money to where they were supposed to have been sending the money to. So all those people that put all that time in have to start all the way to the bottom again. But what if they're 65 years old, ready to retire? Oh, well.
That was an employee that was highly upset regarding possibly losing his pension due to Yellow Freight going into bankruptcy. So a lot of people are questioning, how is this possible? Can you legally lose your pension? Well, the first step to answering that is to know what a pension actually is. A pension is frankly a benefit that is offered to an employee from an employer. It is considered a benefit from the employer to the employee, and it's often within unions. You don't normally see that within a normal job. You usually see that within a UPS or a Yellow Freight or some type of unionized job. So let's look at what a pension actually is. So a pension is an employee benefit that commits the employer to make regular contributions to a pool of money that is set aside in order to fund payments made to eligible employees after they retire. Now, what I want you guys to focus on within that definition, which is a basic definition of that, is it is a benefit. It is not something that you legally have to have from employer to employee. And the reason why I want you to focus on that it is a benefit is because people are saying that they are guaranteed their pension, and other people are saying that they could possibly lose their pension. And today we're going to figure out what's the real answer. So let's look at how a pension actually works. So you can see on the picture that I'm showing now, this is typically how a pension works, right? So you have your job and then you get paid, right? So a workplace pension usually is where you get paid, you pay your amount or percentage that you choose towards your pension bucket or pot, however you would want to call it. And then your work usually matches up to a certain percentage. When it comes to pensions, the average is about 3% in the US. So that goes into a bucket, right? As you see on the graph here. What was happening with Yellow Freight was people were putting in their money as they got paid to go into the pension bucket, and the company was not matching that. They were not putting the funds in the correct account to where these people could get their pensions whenever they retire. So now that we know what a pension is, how it works, let's look at what a pension payout actually looks like from a basic generic standpoint. Every employer is different, but we're going to look at it from a broad range. So pension plans require your employer to contribute money toward your plan as you work. Once you retire, you earn the accrued pension money dividend into monthly checks. In most cases, a formula determines the amount you receive. Some of the formula variables include your age, compensations, and years of service to the company. Now, with that said, most pensions pay out after you have worked for the company for 30 years. So let's look at a basic payout for a pension plan. So let's say you work for a company for 30 years and your average salary is $75,000. Based on a basic pension payout, you would then do 30 times 2% of the $75,000, which would then equal about $45,000 a year for the rest of your life. That is based on a basic payout of a pension plan. So now we know what a pension is, how it's accumulated, how it works, what it pays out. Now we want to know, can it actually be stopped for any reason? Any reason can a pension plan be stopped? And the answer to that is yes. Because this is a benefit, employers are not required by law to even offer this pension plan. This is a benefit. This is not something that is legally binding that an employer has to do. So there are certain things and stipulations that can stop an employer at any time from stopping something like a 401k or even a pension. And as you see here, you will see multiple reasons legally that an employer can stop your pension. And as you know, one of the reasons that's listed right here right now is what is happening with Yellow Freight. They are going into bankruptcy. Not only are they going into bankruptcy, they also do not have the funds within that pension account that they should have, which is one of the reasons why a pension plan could be suspended or why you could lose your pension. And you can find all this information on irs.gov. Now, there are laws that protect you from situations like this from happening. The government has set in place a corporation called the Pension Benefit Guaranty Corporation, but they are limited to so much that they can do within a situation, because what we've already learned is there are certain situations that calls for a legal binding situation to where a employer can terminate a pension at any time. Now, what this corporation does is they look at what's happening within that employer and look at what they can do on their end to protect the employee. For instance, when Sears went under, they were able to actually still give people their pension, because even though Sears was going under as a business, they still did the right thing with their money and put money away for their employees' benefits. Matter of fact, Sears blamed the fact that they were putting money away for the employees' benefits as a reason of why they went under. That is definitely not what happened when it came to Yellow Freight. Yellow Freight was mismanaging the money. They have no money in their pension account to even offer the employees their money. This corporation will come in and then look at what's going on with the employer and see how they can protect the employee. So let's look at the best situation and the worst situation. All right, so let's talk about the best situation, right? The best situation is that this corporation could come in, look at the employer, see what happened, and then totally based on the state that they're out of and the funds that this corporation has on hand, could protect the employees and fully pay them their benefits. They could easily go, hey man, we owe you this money. We're going to pay you this certain amount over the next 30 years. Here you go. However, this corporation that's set up by the federal government only have a certain amount of funds, and they only can protect a certain amount of people at a certain amount of time. So that is very unlikely to happen. Another situation would be is that this corporation steps in, they look at the employer versus the employee, and they go, hey, within this bankruptcy that you're doing, you have to at least give the people back their money. Meaning you have to give them back in a lump sum or over 30 years, at least what the employees gave to you. And then the worst thing that could happen, they could come in and go, hey, we know you guys are in bankruptcy. Your finances are terrible. We're going to take legal actions against you guys. There's nothing we can do for the employee. So the correct answer to these questions of can you actually lose your pension? The actual answer is yes. Will you? Most of the time, no, you will at least get what you put back in, which to me, that's not even really a pension. That is more like a refund of your money. All right, so now we know what a pension is. We know what a basic payout looks like. We know whether a pension can be suspended or stopped at any time for whatever reason there is. We know what corporation protects the employee versus employer when it comes to a pension. So the answer to your question, if the employees from Yellow Freight will lose their pension or not, is we don't know. We won't know until PBG Corporation intervenes, look at the financial situation of Yellow Freight, till they make a decision, until the government steps in, because this is the second time that Yellow Freight has been bailed out. So for people to say that they will lose their pension, they could be right. And some people to say they won't lose their pension, they could be right as well. We have to wait and see. There's limitations, but they could. That's the honest answer. They could lose their pension, or the best case scenario, they could at least get what they put in over the last 30 years, which is crazy to me because you're still losing, because you stick with an employee so long, hoping that that pension will come through, hoping that you will get that percentage back on the back end, and that you'll be able to retire with a good salary, which if you just get what you put in, that's a refund. That is not a pension. Let me know what question you guys have. Like and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and like, man. 90% of y'all that watch the videos do not subscribe. Y'all return here, y'all watch the video, but do not subscribe. Subscribe, like, we're gonna do some vlogging in the next week or so of some fuel hauling, but I had to make this video to make things clear. See you guys next week.